Hello students, myself Dr. Pallavi Rai, and today I am here to teach you the Unit 2 drugs of PP 504 pharmacognosy subject. So today we will be discussing those drugs which are basically classified under the resinous drugs. Okay, so what are resinous drugs? Before we move to the main drugs, I would like to define what are resin drugs. So resin drugs are generally those drugs which are formed from volatile oil substances, and we know that volatile oils are also the secondary metabolites produced in plants, and these volatile oils, when they get oxygenated due to various enzymatic action, they get converted to the oxidized products of these volatile oils. So resin is not just a single oxygenated product, but it is a complex mixture of different kinds of volatile oils, their oxygenated intermediates and their product in the form of carboxylic acids. Okay. So resins are a mixture of carboxylic acids with intermediates of volatile oils and the raw material of the volatile oil. So together a complex mixture is known as a resin, and today we are going to study those drugs which contain these complex mixture, and we will start with ginger, asafoetida and colophony, which are mentioned in your syllabus. So the first drug which we are going to discuss today is ginger, and ginger is commonly known as Rhizoma gingiberus and gingiber in the western market. In India we call it commonly as adrak, or the dried ginger is known as the sunthi in Sanskrit, or in Hindi. In Sanskrit it is known as sunthi, and in Hindi we call it saunt. So the dried ginger is saunt and the fresh ginger we call it adrak. In the foreign market it is known as Rhizoma gingiberus or gingiber. And the biological source of this ginger is basically, it consists of the dried rhizomes. Okay, they are the underground part. You must have seen ginger at your home. Okay, so they are the underground part, basically the rhizomes of Gingiber officinale. Okay, the biological name is Gingiber officinale, belonging to the family Zingiberaceae. You can pronounce it as Gingiberaceae or Gingiberaceae. Some students pronounce it as Gingiberaceae. So it is not wrong, but you have to remember it starts with Z and not with G. Both gingiber and Gingiberaceae, they start with Z and not G. Please don't get confused with that. Okay, and which part is used as drug? The rhizomes are used as drugs. Okay. Now the geographical source, so basically it is found in the Western Indies, which are set of islands in the Pacific Ocean. Okay. Then it is found in Nigeria, and the largest exporter of ginger is Jamaica. Okay. So Jamaica is the largest exporter of ginger. Even India manufactures a lot of ginger. Japan and various other African countries, they manufacture ginger, and ginger is a, you can say, food material not consumed just in India, but it is consumed in all the cultures. So it is a part of food in all the cultures due to its flavor, and secondly due to its digestive properties. It enhances our digestion, so that is why it is incorporated in our diet, so that it helps in good digestion of the food. Now we move to the cultivation and collection of ginger. So because of a large scale utility of ginger, this herb is cultivated at a very large scale. Okay, and it is a perennial herb. Now perennial herb means that once you plant this tree, or I should say plant rather, so this plant goes on growing for many years together. Okay, so it is not just 1 year or 2 year crop, it grows for many years if you allow to grow it. But normally we require the rhizome, so we have to remove, or you can say uproot the plant, so that the rhizomes are removed. Okay. So, this plant normally grows to a height of 1 meter, and normally the altitude at which the cultivation should be done, the preferable altitude is 600 to 1500 meter above the sea level. The type of the soil which it requires, it is well drained, rich, loamy soil with abundant rainfall. So, loamy soil is generally considered to be a very fertile kind of soil, and it should be well drained. The water should not be stagnated in that soil, and it should have abundant rainfall also. So, water is required, but stagnation of water is not required. Okay. Then the plant grows very easily for cultivation. We can go for seed propagation, but better way is use the rhizomes itself. Okay. So, we can cut the rhizome and then we can plant it in the fields, and it starts growing itself. It germinates through vegetative propagation, and we have the plants growing to a good height of about 1 meter in about 6 to 7 months, after which the rhizomes, they are you can say uprooted, they are cleaned nicely, okay, and then they can be cleaning requires normally washing or treating it with certain acids also at times for better coloration or bleaching. All this is done. Okay. So, rhizomes are generally used for the vegetative propagation, and they are sown in the month of March or April, and by January the plants wither. Wither means they dry out, and we can have the basically roots removed and washed. Now, the processing is done by soaking these uprooted roots in warm water overnight. Okay. We will put it in water and leave it overnight in water. The next morning the peel is scraped off. We will just remove the basically the outer peel with the help of a knife. So, basically the outer peel is what? Outer cork and little of the parenchyma. After this they are washed again, and then they are dried in the sun for about a week. Later on, depending upon the requirement, they may be bleached or left like that only. So, the Jamaican variety specifically, it is bleached or limed by treating it with either sulfuric acid or with chlorine, or even with by dusting it with calcium sulfate or calcium carbonate. So, these are the different processes which are used to improve the quality of the ginger, for its storage, for its aesthetic appearance. Okay. Aesthetic appearance means visually it should look good. So, for that these things are generally done to increase the market value of our dried ginger or sunthi. Now, the characteristics of these ginger, basically rhizomes are 5 to 15 centimeter long and 3 to 6 centimeter wide. You must have seen these rhizomes in your house. So, just you must have seen roughly it is of the size of 5 to 15 centimeter in length and 3 to 6 centimeter in width, and the thickness is about 1.5 centimeter, and it is slightly flattened structure. It is a you can say flat structure, it is not a circular structure. So, it is a flattened structure. One more thing is there, that even in the plant or in the rhizomes, one type of phenomena which is seen, that is sympodial branching. Okay. Sympodial branching means that we will have the branching in this pattern. This is seen in the leaves also, and this is seen in the rhizomes also. So, I will show you the leaf branching. I think it is there in the first slide. So, you can see here that it is having a sympodial branching of the leaves. Okay. So, it is in this manner. Same way the rhizomes are also in the sympodial branching, like you can see this piece here, it is having a sympodial branching. Okay. So, both have this sympodial branching. The outer surface of ginger is normally buff yellow colored with longitudinally straighted fibers, and small circular depressions are there at, you can see certain circular depressions on the surface of this ginger. Just if you have an opportunity, look at a ginger piece in your kitchen, you will find that there are circular lines or depressions on the surface of the ginger. The odor of this ginger is very agreeable and aromatic, and the taste is pungent and agreeable. Pungent means slightly burning sensation, or I can say spicy in nature. So, if you eat it directly, you will have a very spicy type of feeling. Along with it, you will like it also. So, it is a agreeable taste. Now, the chemical constituents. So, the main chemical constituent here, as I told you already, that resins are synthesized from volatile oils. So, it is going to contain some volatile oil, about 1 to 2% of volatile oil is present, 5 to 8% of pungent resinous mass is present. So, this pungent resinous mass is our main active ingredient. Okay. The volatile oil is giving it a good flavor or odor, while the pungent resinous material is responsible for its medicinal effect. Okay. And the pungency which is there, it is due to a yellow oily body which is known as gingerol. Okay. This gingerol is responsible for the basically odorless. It is though odorless, but it has a pungent taste. Okay. Pungency is the taste. Then the volatile oils are generally sesquiterpene hydrocarbons like alpha gingiberol, alpha sesquiterpene, alpha bisabolene, alpha farnesene, alpha sesquiphilandrine, etc. Then there are few derivatives, that is gingerone, shaogol and gingiberine, which are the resinous derivatives. Now, here we can see the structure of these are the gingerols. You can see a aromatic ring connected to a long chain alkyl, okay, and it is not a single gingerol. We have N as 2, here you can see the N is given, okay. So, this is a long chain alkyl group. So, N can be 0, it can be 2, it can be 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, etc. So, we do not have one type of ginger. As I told you, resin is not a single component, it is a mixture of many components. Okay. So, here depending upon the number of carbon atoms, we have a complex mixture. Okay. Now, sometimes what happens that these shaogols, these gingerols, I am sorry, gets converted to shaogols. Okay. Shaogols are derivatives of gingerols. Okay. And here also same way, the N can be either 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 and 10. Okay. So, these are the main chemical constituents which are having the medicinal properties. It also contains gingerone. Okay. This is the structure of gingerone. So, these are the main active ingredients of gingerol along with few other chemical constituents. The volatile oils which are there, they are all sesquiterpene hydrocarbons, as I already told you. Okay. So, we have sesquiterpene hydrocarbons as well as gingerol, shaogols, gingiberine, gingerone, etc. The main uses of ginger, it is anti-emetic in nature, spasmolytic in nature. Antiemetic means which suppresses the vomiting. Okay. Emetic means induces vomiting, antiemetic means reduces vomiting, spasmolytic means reduces the spasms. Okay. It is aromatic, stimulant for the digestion, carminative, reduces the gases in the stomach, condiment means spice, flavoring agent again to add flavor. Then it is used in dyspepsia when we have there is a problem in the pepsin release. Okay. Flatulent colic means due to the gases or bloating the person is suffering from stomach pain. Okay. Vomiting spasm means when you have nausea or vomiting, you have lot of you can say palpitation, or the esophagus keeps on contracting. Okay. It is a very uncomfortable feeling. So, that it is reduced if you eat this ginger. Okay. Then painful affections means infections of the stomach, even in cold, cough and asthma means respiratory disorders we can use ginger. For sore throat we can use it. Hoarseness means kharash, which we call when there is any blockage in the throat due to the sore throat, as well as loss of voice due to any kind of throat infection. So, in the respiratory system and the digestive system as well as any kind of contractions, we can use ginger as an important drug. Okay. The adulteration of ginger is done by using wormy drug or spent ginger. It is that drug from which the basically resin has been completely isolated. Okay. Using petroleum ether, if we extract the ginger, all the resin goes in the petroleum ether. So, what is remaining is that ginger which does not have any resin or volatile oil. So, that is wormy drug or spent ginger. Then sometimes to bring out the pungency, the spiciness, what is done that the exhausted ginger is taken and to that capsicum here means chili, okay, chili, the red chili which we eat, it is not the capsicum Shimla mirch, okay, it is chili. So, that chili when it is added to the exhausted ginger, means that ginger from which the oil has already been removed, resin has already been removed. So, to have that pungency, so that people will say, okay, this when they eat the sont, they will say no, this is the adulterated sont. So, to confuse them, generally capsicum means red chili extract is added to it to enhance the pungency of the ginger. Now, we come to the next drug, that is asafoetida. In common language, asafoetida is known as hing. Okay, remember hing, we use it again, it is a kitchen drug, but it is having very good effects on the GIT. Okay. So, it is a hing, commonly known, but in western market, okay, in English it is known as devil's dung. Devil's dung because it is having a very bad odor or a peculiar odor, because of which people do not like it much. Okay. So, the name has been given devil's dung. Sometimes it is also called as food of the gods, because it is very miraculously cures any kind of digestive problem. If you are bloated, if you are having lot of gastric issues and you consume hing, it is cured. So, that is why it is also known as the food of gods. Then many people call this asafoda, or in English we call this asafoetida. Okay, asafoetida. And the biological source of hing is that it is an oleogum resin. Okay, oleogum resin means what? It means it contains oil plus gum plus resin. Together it is known as oleogum resin. So, it is not just a resin, it is mixed, it is a resin combination mixed with oil and gum. Okay, and it is obtained by as an exudation. Exudation means what? When we put any kind of cut in any tree, we find sometimes a liquid comes out of the tree. Okay, so that process is known as exudation, removal of any liquid from any part of the body or anything, that is exudation. Okay, so when this oleogum resin, it is obtained as an exudation by incision, means when we cut the decapitated rhizome and roots of Ferula foetida belonging to the family Apiaceae. Okay, it is Apiaceae, sometimes also known as Umbelliferae. Okay, do not get confused in book if it is written Umbelliferae or Apiaceae, both are same, because Umbelliferae is a very large family, Apiaceae is another name. Okay. Now, here I would like to again explain the biological source, that we are getting a mixture of oil, gum and resin, which is obtained by exudation. From where? So, basically the tree of this asafoetida, it is cut from the ground just above the roots. Okay, from where it is visible, whatever shoot part is visible, we cut exactly from there, the tree is cut, and then from the roots and the rhizomes a liquid comes out through these incisions. Okay, so that is why the name, it is decapitated. Decapitated means cut tree, the tree is cut completely. Then the roots and rhizomes, in them the cuts are put, after which a exudation comes out, and that is nothing but the oleogum resin, and the biological name is Ferula foetida. Pronounce with me, Ferula foetida, belonging to the family Apiaceae. And the geographical source of this is, the plant grows mainly in Iran, Turkestan, as well as, just a minute, in Iran, Turkestan, and Afghanistan. So, these are the main countries where the cultivation is done. Now, we will just look at how the cultivation is done and collection. So, here you can see this bright colored red tree is that of Asafoetida, and when it is cut from the trunk region, we have a opening, okay. From the ground we can see a circular stem which is like this, okay. It is in the transverse section. So, the upper part of the root is laid bare, it is opened, and the stem cut off close to the crown in March and April month, okay. Now the exposed surface is there. So, to generally avoid any kind of dusty material coming on that, it is covered by a dome shaped structure which is generally made using twigs and earth, okay. Now, what happens is that gradually the oleogum resin starts exuding from the roots and rhizomes on the surface of this cut part, okay. So, we will have some deposition kind of thing coming on the surface of the root, okay. And this whitish gummy resinous emulsion, it is generally produced from the schizogenous ducts of the cortex of the stem, okay. Gradually it hardens, and after that it is scraped off from the surface and packed in the tins, okay. Now, after that, now when it is packed in the tins, initially it is whitish color, but gradually it turns into darker color. So, this thing keep on repeating till 3 months, okay. We keep on putting new incisions cuts directly in a vertical line. So, the resins come out again and again, and then they are scraped off, and then they are used. So, this is about how it is collected. Now, if we look at the morphology of this Asafoetida, so it is found mainly as the tears, okay. We call it the tears. So, it is a perennial branching 3-meter high herb, the tree, and it has large schizogenous ducts from where these resins are produced. And when it is produced, it is soft solid mass or irregular lumps or tears, sometimes almost semi-liquid. When they dry, they become into small tears in the pieces of 5 to 30 mm in diameter and greyish white or dull yellow or reddish brown in color. They have a very strong garlic like odor which we call as the eliaceous odor, okay, due to the sulfur containing substance, and it has a bitter, acrid and eliaceous taste, again due to that sulfur containing substance. So, what are the main chemical constituent? It contains 4 to 20% of volatile oils, resins 40 to 65% and gum 25%. So, it is oleo, gum, resin. So, we have all the three: volatile oil, resin and gum. And the eliaceous odor and taste which I told, because of a sulfur containing substance, that was nothing but isobutyl propionyl disulfide, that is C6H16S2. And the main volatile oils are sesquiterpene, umbelliferyl ethers, okay. The main chemical constituent or the effective chemical constituent is ferulic acid, okay, and this ferulic acid is not very stable in nature, so it gets converted to umbellic acid, and umbellic acid further gets converted to umbelliferone on storage, okay. Ferulic acid gets converted to umbellic acid and umbellic acid gets converted to umbelliferone, okay. So, this is how the conversion takes place. It also contains aceracetonol, pinene, vanillin, etc. And there are many volatile oils which are present like philandrine, geranyl acetate, bornyl, etc. So, this is ferulic acid which is converting to umbellic acid, and then umbellic acid is getting converted to umbelliferone. It also contains asafoetidine as well as foetidine in this Asafoetida. The chemical test: one is with water, it produces milky emulsion. Second, with HCl, when HCl is added and ammonia is also added, it produces blue fluorescence. With 50% nitric acid, Asafoetida, it produces green color, and with concentrated sulfuric acid, if we add on the fractured surface of Asafoetida, it produces violet, it produces red color initially, which is changed to violet color on washing with water. Now, the main uses, as I already told you, it is a very good carminative drug, expectorant, antispasmodic, laxative and flavoring food. Okay. What does laxative means? Which relieves from constipation. Okay. Then it is used in enema, to treat enema, in intestinal flatulence, means when there is gas in the intestine, in CNS problems like hysteria and epilepsy also it is said to have some effects. Then in cholera, asthma, whooping cough and chronic bronchitis. So, these are some of the uses for which it is generally consumed traditionally. And the adulterations are, gum arabic is one drug which is generally used to adulterate, because this is very costly, the original hing is very costly. Then it also is adulterated through rosin, gypsum, red clay, chalk, barley, wheat flour, slices of potatoes. So, all kind of the cheap substances are used for adulteration of asafoetida. And an allied drug, mean in place of asafoetida we can use galbanum and ammoniacum also as the substituent drugs for adulteration, for substitution, not adulteration. The third drug is colophony, commonly known as rosin or abatic acid. It is also known as amber resin or coloponium, and the biological source is that it is a solid residue which is obtained after distilling of the exudation from Pinus palestraceus belonging to the family Pinaceae. The geographical source is generally it is found in United States, France, Italy as well as in the Himalayan region of India. And this drug is basically a physiological resin produced directly from the plant, and what is done is that using a cup and gutter method this collection is done. The collection can be done for about 40 years from the same plant. I will just show you the picture. This is the tree of the Pinus palestraceus, and you must have seen this is if you have visited any places in the Himalayan region or in Jammu Kashmir or in Himachal Pradesh or Uttarakhand, you will see that on the trunk, generally in the trunk region, if you look at this picture, there is a cut or this kind of cuts are made on the tree, and there is a tiny tin shaped structure which is attached in a V shape, so that the resin starts exuding from this particular cut part and is collected in a wooden cup. Okay, there is a wooden cup. Okay. Now, because it is a physiological resin, you can see in this picture they are generally produced without any incision or cut directly also from the tree, but because we want more of the resin to be removed, this person he is cutting this particular the external part bark of the tree, and because of which there is a direct exudation of all the resins and it is getting collected in the earthen pot. Once it is collected, then it is mixed with 20% turpentine oil, after which it is sent to distillery. After getting distilled in any kind of copper or stainless steel container, this particular thing is heated and then distillation takes place. Now, whatever is distilled off, it is filtered and then it is used for the storage. Okay, that is the main colophony. It is also known as tarpeen. In Hindi we call it tarpeen. Okay. Now, the characteristics, as you can see in the picture, that it is a translucent, hard, shiny substance, pale yellow to ambered colored. The fracture, when we break, it breaks with a brittle, breaks easily, burns with a smoky flame, produces certain smoke, and the odor and taste are slightly turpentine like, because turpentine was used for the isolation or distillation process. And when we heat it, it melts fast. The density of the melted substance is 1.07 to 1.09. The main chemical constituents of colophony are basically it contains resin acids, resins and fatty acid esters, in which the main acids are alpha, beta and gamma abatic acids. It also contains dihydroabatic acid and dehydroabatic acids with some concentrations of cypnic acid. In the undistilled or the crude colophony which we collect, we have this positive pimeric acid which gets converted to abatic acid during distillation. So, this is the structure of abatic acid as you can see, and this is the structure of pimeric acid. So, pimeric acid is converted, normally the positive pimeric acid is converted to abatic acid while distillation. The chemical tests are mainly that when we take powdered resin in acetic acid and add 1 drop of sulfuric acid, it produces purple color, and in petroleum ether solution when colophony is added and to that copper acetate is added, then a emerald green color is produced. The main uses are, it is a stiffening agent in ointments, adhesives, plasters, serrates, and diuretic in veterinary medicine. Abatic acid shows antimicrobial, anti-ulcer and cardiovascular activity. It also forms a thin film, so filmogenic, surfactant in emulsions and anti-feedant properties, means insects if they eat it they will die. So, with this we have discussed today regarding ginger, Asafoetida as well as colophony. In next class we will discuss the other 3 resinous drugs. Thank you.